Hey guys, this is Vineet Pandey, and I'm just working on my live session. I'm making sure that this live session is available to all of you and you are able to join us. The first live session that I tried to do had some issue. So that first live session, it was having some issue, and that I do it on my own. So I have to do it on my own. So I believe I'm audible. I'm really sorry as this lecture is being conducted from my home, so I do understand that sometimes there are issues. I believe I'm audible. I'm really sorry as this lecture is this tells me that the lecture is going on, so I do understand that sometimes there are issues because at home I have no assistant, so I just have to maintain things and see. So this is actually a private video live class, and for sample purposes I have shared it because 22nd of the January some students contacted us to join the batch, so I thought, okay, I'll share the samples. So if you want to see how Vineet Pandey teaches, this is how I teach. Okay, so this is Age of Chaucer, and here we have to deal with Age of Chaucer, today's topic. For all the online student, we already have done Anglo section. हमने Anglo section कर लिया है. Now, as you all know that the timing of Anglo section we did was 450. The sections came to England, then 650, seven big tribes, then 850, where Anglo-Saxon Empire becomes the strongest empire. Then 1066 Norman conquest, or also called the Battle of Hastings, where William the Conqueror and Harold Godwinson fought. I also told you the complete story how Harold Godwinson got defeated by William the Conqueror and what was the trick played by William the Conqueror. By 1066 to 1340, the Normans came from Normandy and dominated Anglo-Saxons. So they actually become the Anglo-Normans. Now, what is difference from Anglo-Saxons to Age of Chaucer? So, as today's topic we have is Age of Chaucer, Geoffrey Chaucer's age. First thing that you have to remember is that Geoffrey Chaucer is called earliest of the great moderns. Earliest of the great moderns. सो ये एज ऑफ चौसर है. अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं चौसर के एज की. सो ही इज कॉल्ड अर्लीस्ट ऑफ द ग्रेट मॉडर्न्स. Here you have to remember the point why Chaucer is called earliest of the great moderns, or the age of Chaucer is also called the first modern age. Age of Chaucer को first modern age बोला जाता है. First modern age. Take your pen and paper. Make sure that you're noting down the points. Let me check how many of you live so that I can be sure if you can see the board properly. I hope the board is quite visible. First modern age is visible. Fine. First of all, when we say Chaucer is the first modern poet, or the age of Chaucer is the first modern age, earliest of the great moderns, what do we mean by moderns? अगर हम कहते हैं पहली modern age है, तो हमारे according modern age होती क्या है? अब देखिए मॉडर्न एज क्या होती है. वैसे देर इज नो प्रॉपर डेफिनेशन ऑफ मॉडर्न एज. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि कोई मॉडर्न एज की डेफिनेशन हो, बट देर वॉज एक्चुअली अ स्लोगन इन द रियल मॉडर्न एज. मेक इट न्यू. मेक इट न्यू वॉज द स्लोगन बाय एजरा पाउंड. In modern age, Ezra Pound gave a slogan, "Make it new." So the simple theme was that make it new. आई एम वर्किंग ऑन माई प्राइवेट स्टूडियो. मैं ये मेरे घर से लाइव क्लास हो रही है. सो इन व्हेन आई वर्क फ्रॉम होम सम इश्यूज आर देयर. समटाइम्स आई एम द कैमरा पर्सन, आई एम द टीचर. आई हैव टू ऑल्सो चेक if the lecture is going on, but I'm working on a hi-fi studio, and it's like some 10 lakhs plus kind of investment. But soon we will have projectors, big screens, TV screen in front of me, so that whatever I'm teaching I can also see on TV. So I'm working on it. It will take around 30 more days. Now, see, the first modern age, make it new. Now, what are the new things? Why Chaucer's age is called the modern age? New, because of new things. What are the new things? Note it down. ये सब नोट कर लो, because आपके पेपर में क्वेश्चन जो आएंगे, the questions will be like this: assertion, reason question, that why Chaucer's age is called a modern age, and what are the salient features where we actually feel that okay, this is modern age. 1348, Black Death. What is Black Death? ग्रेट प्लेग. एक प्लेग फैल गया. चौसर की एज में क्या हुआ? एक प्लेग फैल गया, एंड द प्लेग caused the bodies blackened after the death. So the people who died, they would get black. They could, the body will become black. So people started calling it Black Death. 1348, Black Death is one of the most important phenomena that developed the age of Chaucer in the first modern age. तो पहला पॉइंट, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, चौसर की एज को पहला मॉडर्न एज क्यों बोला जाता है? बिकॉज ऑफ दिस थिंग, ग्रेट प्लेग, ब्लैक डेथ. ओके, नाउ द नेक्स्ट पॉइंट, 100 Years War. The another important thing that says that makes Chaucer's age the first modern age, 100 Years War, 1337 to 1453. 100 Years War. अब 100 Years War का टाइमिंग देखो. Just check the timing again. What is the timing of Chaucer's age? 1340 to 1400. This is the timing of Chaucer's age. Okay, age of Chaucer. What is the timing of the war? So around 1337 to 1400. So this age of Chaucer was heavily troubled because of war. Second most important thing, war. First important thing was plague. Plague. Second important thing, war. Second most important thing, war. Why? Because war, epidemics, pandemics, they have great impact. Third thing, religion. Fourth thing, social upliftment. Social upliftment. What are the most important phenomena? What are the most important things that developed Chaucer's age as the first modern age? See this. I hope that side of the board is quite visible to you. Now see, plague. I'll define one by one. देखो प्लेग फैलने से क्या हुआ? 1348, in the area called Dorset, 33% people died. How many people died? 33%. प्लेग कहां पे फैला? 1348 डॉर्सेट. ये एरिया का नाम है, पेपर में आ चुका है. एक मूवी आई थी 1922 लंदन करके, 1921-22 लंदन. उसमें जो भूत होता है, it was a horror movie. So in the movie also they take a reference that the ghost comes from London, from Black Death scene. They have taken the reference. Maybe the movie director was some net aspirant. Plague, 1348, Dorset, 33% people died. How it is connected to life? How it is connected to social development? The most important thing, the biggest contribution of plague was doubt in faith. Faith in doubt. Doubt in faith. Why? बोलो, आप बोलो. When COVID got spreaded, an epidemic, people started doubting the religion. At that time, in ancient age, old age, the partners would come and sell the pardons. तो पार्टनर होते थे, पार्टनर्स आते थे चर्च की तरफ से. These partners would come from the church side and they would sell the pardons. That you confess your crime. If you confess your crime, they will tell you the money, pardons. Then you pay the money, you take the pardon, and those religious authorities would promise you that you will live a great life. You will be having 100 years life. You will be happy, healthy. All these religious people, this was the time of religion. They believed in this thing that God is there to protect us. But when 33% people died in the plague, great plague, they started questioning that there is something wrong in the religion. पहली चीजों को समझ में आई, इनको लगा कुछ तो गड़बड़ है, कोई तो रॉन्ग नंबर लगा रहा है, रिलीजन का जो अप्रोच है वो गड़बड़ है, कहीं रॉन्ग नंबर लग रहा है. फर्स्ट थिंग, दे स्टार्टेड डाउटिंग द रिलीजन. सो द फेथ इन डाउट, डाउट इन फेथ, दिस रिजल्टेड इन Lollard's movement. What is Lollard's? पेपर में क्वेश्चन आ चुका है. It has been asked in exam. Lollards led by John Wycliffe. 90% students will study John Wycliffe. You also study John Purvey. Second leader of Lollards. John Wycliffe and John Purvey. Lollards came because of plague religion. Who are those people? Who are Lollards? The people who wanted to reform the society by correcting the wrong practices of the church. Lollards started correcting the wrong practices of church. If you remember Geoffrey Chaucer's Canterbury Tales, 8 religious characters are there, and out of 8 religious characters, 7 religious characters are corrupt. The nun prioress, the nun priest, the friar, the monk, pardoner, summoner, they are drunkard, hunters, show off kind of people. So there was corruption of church, and Lollards, this group, the group of religious people, Lollards, under the leadership of John Wycliffe and then John Purvey. Remember this name, John Purvey. JRF karna hai na? John Purvey yaad karo. So they came, they started reforming the religion. Wycliffe is also the first person to translate the Bible. Note it down. यहाँ पे first Latin Bible का translation होगा. The Latin Bible got translated into English. Vulgate's Latin Bible. So Wycliffe translated Latin Bible into English. This I will teach you when I will teach you Elizabethans. There we will have a special lecture of Bible and I will teach you Bible step by step. Now, Latin Bible to English Bible, that happened. We have talked about war. Okay. Now here you have to remember the point. What is the contribution of war? 100 years war fought between England and France. England and France. Now, what is the contribution of war in a society? When a society goes through war, the big change comes. Maybe the good, maybe the bad, but the change is inevitable. The change comes, especially if you defeat others. If you win, you become stronger. Spirit of nationality comes to you. This war, first of all, दोस्तों timing याद रखना, 100 years war 1337 to 1453. मेमोरी बहुत जरूरी है एग्जाम के लिए. मेमोरी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. अगर मेरी तरह डबल जेआरएफ करना है या 10 बार नेट करना है तो एक चीज याद कर लो, मेमोरी. मेमोरी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इट्स गोइंग टू प्ले द की रोल. आज भी जो स्टूडेंट टॉपर आई थी हमारे यहाँ बात करने, शी सेड रिवीजन, जस्ट रिवीजन. सो 100 years war, England and France 1337 to 1453. There were some battles where England defeated France. कौन कौन से battles थे? There were some battles England defeated France. Battle of Crecy, Battle of Poitiers, and Battle of Agincourt. Battle of Crecy, Battle of Poitiers, Battle of Agincourt. अब इनकी टाइमिंग्स याद रखना. टाइमिंग इज इंपॉर्टेंट. 1346, 1356, 1415. 3 different battles. These 3 battles where the England, it kind of got developed as a strong nation. England defeated France. So first of all, these 3 battles played a great role. First of all, these 2 battles actually took place in the age of Chaucer, 1346 to 1356. Let me see if it is in the frame and you can see it. Okay. So somehow you're not able to see. Now you see, right? Now you can see. So 1346, 1356, 1415. Okay. Now see this thing. So you can write down these things. Notes बना लेना दोस्तों, because ये lecture है. Plus this lecture is public because most of the students wanted to know how I teach. Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5 and 6. There are 6 more lectures that we have to deal with, and I can add 7 also. Though they will be private one. So first of all, take a pen and paper. लिखते जाना ये. If you want to be a JRF material, remember whatever I'm teaching here, whatever I'm writing here, it should be on your tips. अगर finger tips पे है तो ही होगा. So these 3 battles, they also played the role. Remember the 3 battles. अब we have talked about plague, religion, war. Now what's left? Social development, social upliftment. What was the next point? Social upliftment. How social upliftment comes? I'll ask you a simple question. How many people died in Black Death? 33% people, right? Black Death में बहुत सारे लोग मर गए. 33%. One third. Who is actually more prone to the epidemics? कौन से लोग ऐसे हैं जो एपिडेमिक्स में सबसे ज्यादा मरते हैं? सबसे ज्यादा वाट किसकी लगती है? अमीर लोग, राजा वाजा लोग, या गरीब लोग? आपने कभी सोचा इंश्योरेंस कंपनी इंश्योरेंस बेचती है कौन किसको? रिक्शा चलाने वाला इंश्योरेंस नहीं लेता, उसके पास इतना पैसा नहीं है. रिक्शा चलाने वाला जल्दी मर सकता है. इंश्योरेंस लेते हैं अमीर लोग. अमीर लोगों के मरने के चांस कितने होते हैं? रेयर. क्यों? साफ पानी है, बढ़िया वाटर प्योरीफायर है, बढ़िया ऑक्सीजन प्योरीफायर आजकल आ गए हैं दिल्ली में, देन एयर कंडीशंस, हेल्दी लाइफ, जिम, योगा, डाइट, फूड, जूस. So technically the rich people, they can afford the better kind of lifestyle, and these are the main people who make the insurance company earn. जल्दी मरते नहीं है, इंश्योरेंस कंपनी कमाती रहती है. और अभी अब इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को बोलो जाओ गांव में where there is no clean water. So if you ask insurance company to go to the village side area, no clean water, dirt, drainage, bad breathings, they are inhaling poison. They will not go. They know they can die anytime. So simple point is that when 33% people died, it was the poor class, the labor class of London. लंदन का लेबर क्लास साफ हो गया, पुअर क्लास साफ हो गया. अमीरों को हॉस्पिटल नहीं मिल रहे थे कोविड में, गरीबों की तो बात ही नहीं हो रही थी. तो when labor class and the poor class got swept away, the remaining labor class, the remaining poor class, the price hike, they raised their prices because the supply got blocked. So जो बाकी के बचे खुचे लोग थे उन्होंने प्राइसेस बढ़ा दिए, वैल्यूज बढ़ा दी. प्लस दोज पीपल ऑल्सो अंडरस्टूड दैट व्हेन देयर इज एन एपिडेमिक, नीदर द चर्च नॉर द किंग, नोबडी कम्स टू हेल्प. इन लोगों को एक चीज और समझ में आई. दो लोग उनसे टैक्स लेते थे. दे यूज्ड टू पे टैक्सेस टू द चर्च, दे यूज्ड टू पे टैक्सेस टू द किंग. These people, the poor people, they used to pay taxes. ये टैक्स देते थे. Now when we pay the taxes to the government, we believe that government will help us. We want it, right? हम बोलते हैं ना सर टैक्स देता हूं मैं, मेरा अधिकार है, मेरे राइट्स हैं. So they people, when they realized that during the 1348 of Black Death time, neither the church came to help us nor the king came to help us, then on what ground they are taking taxes? So they also denied to pay the taxes. इन्होंने टैक्स देने से मना कर दिया. उन्होंने बोला भैया टैक्स क्यों देंगे? किंग बेचारा महल के अंदर छुप के बैठा है ब्लैक डेथ पे, बड़े बड़े प्रीस्ट आ नहीं रहे हैं. व्हाई शुड वी पे द टैक्सेस? सो द पीजेंट रिवॉल्यूशन ऑफ 1381, peasant revolution 1381 is also one of the most historical date in the age of Chaucer. Most important question of net exam, the timing of peasant revolution, also called peasant uprising. Peasant revolution हुआ, peasant uprising हुई, किसानों का विद्रोह हो गया. And who was the leader? That is also a question. Wat Tyler. Peasant revolution was led by Wat Tyler. Wat Tyler was the main leader. Second leader was Jack Straw. Second leader was Jack Straw. Peasant revolution and Jack Straw. Second revolution. First leader, leader number 1, leader number 2, Jack Straw. And the peasants denied to pay taxes. The question in net exam was, in Vox Clementis, John Gower talks about peasant revolution. Which book is based on peasant revolution? So Vox Clementis, the voice of the crying one. It's a very important date. In Canterbury Tales, Chaucer also talks about a poor farmer, a peasant. And Chaucer supports royal class. Chaucer बोलता है, he paid his taxes regularly. He paid his taxes. Chaucer's character, farmer. Chaucer भी कहता है कि मेरा farmer ईमानदार है और वो taxes देता है. These farmers denied to pay the taxes. Why to pay the tax? Simple सी बात है ना. During epidemic अगर government हमारी help नहीं कर रही तो हम बोलेंगे ना why to pay taxes? You didn't come to help us. So peasant revolution was 1381 revolution. They denied to pay the taxes, but Chaucer and Gower didn't support the peasants. Point to be noted, my lord. Chaucer and John Gower, another famous writer, Gower, John Gower. Chaucer and Gower. Fact बता रहा हूँ, fact. These are the facts. Otherwise, you will make mistake. You will think that they are writers, so they will support poor people. No. Chaucer was a royal poet. Gower was a royal poet. They support the king. They say no, no, no. Don't ask what king can do for you, what God can do for you. Ask yourself, what are you doing for the king? What are you doing for the God? Chaucer and Gower both supported taxation. They said, no, please pay the taxes. Tax jarur do. Okay, so this is how the social upliftment started, because first revolution takes place. First time a revolution takes place. Now, remember the most important thing. As we know, there were 100 years war was going on. There were various kings at this time. The first king, the most important one, Edward III, Richard II, Henry IV. 1327 to 77, 1377 to 99, 1399 to 1413. The timing of these three kings are very, very important. This is a question of net exam. Under the age of three kings, Chaucer lived and became a writer. What are the names of those three kings? So remember, Edward III, Richard II, and Henry IV. These three kings are very important in development of Chaucerian English literature. चौसर की एज में लिटरेचर का डेवलपमेंट इन तीन किंग्स की वजह से होता है. एडवर्ड द थर्ड राइम रॉयल को अप्रूव करेगा, ही विल अप्रूव राइम रॉयल. Richard II is the subject of Parliament of the Fowls. He got married to Anne of Bohemia. Henry IV, Chaucer's famous work Complaint to the Empty Purse has been dedicated to him. ये पढ़ाऊंगा, डोंट वरी. इफ यू थिंक कि अरे सर ये तो जल्दी जल्दी हो रहा है, मैं लिखूंगा कैसे सर, ये सब पढ़ाऊंगा. आई विल टीच यू ऑल दीज पॉइंट्स स्लोली वन बाय वन. ओके, डोंट वरी. This is introduction of age of Chaucer. This is just introduction. When I will actually teach age of Chaucer with the details, there you can make a lot of notes. But you have to understand for assertion and reason. Assertion, reason type questions, they don't ask direct question. They will simply say age of Chaucer is called modern age because A, B, C, D, E, F. And you have to pick three right pairs. A is right, C is right, F is right. So you have to understand that. Or they will simply say pick the odd one out. They will give you three kings. One king is not there. You have to pick the odd one out. They'll simply say what is the odd one in four battles. They will give you four different battles. Crecy, Poitiers, Agincourt, one more. Battle of Malden. And you'll have to understand that Battle of Malden is Anglo-Saxon thing. 991. We have to be very smart and have to have an understanding. The best thing about understanding lectures is the concepts gets clear in your mind. So अगर concept clear होगा तो you can read, mug up, इसको आप prepare कर सकते हो. ठीक है? So make sure remember that 100 years war timing 1337 to 1453. The name of these three kings, three wars. These are the most important things. Now let's talk about what are the changes? What are the changes from Anglo-Saxon to age of Chaucer? अपने आप से एक क्वेश्चन पूछो, अगर आपको कोई बोले from Anglo-Saxon to age of Chaucer, what are the changes? Literary changes. साहित्यिक चेंज क्या क्या हुआ है? We have talked about politics, we talked about Black Death, we talked about the war, we talked about social upliftment, we talked about the religious segment, Wycliffe Bible. Now, what if they ask you, fine. But in assertion reason, a question comes that the Anglo-Saxon literature was like this. Chaucerian literature is that. Now, the options are A is right, R is the right explanation, R is right, A is wrong explanation, both are right, both are wrong. So here we have to understand what are the transitions, what are the changes from Anglo-Saxons to age of Chaucer. Most important thing. The first thing that you have to remember is Anglo-Saxon literature was descriptive. Anglo-Saxon literature was descriptive. Then Anglo-Saxon literature was idealistic. Anglo-Saxon literature was idealistic. They were using local dialect. And they were writing in prosy style. and they were writing in Latin and French. These are some major changes. So I'll check the board if you can see the Latin and French. Okay, that's quite visible for you now. So first thing, check it once again. दोबारा check कर लो. We are talking about the literary change from Anglo-Saxon to age of Chaucer. Let's change the color of the pen so that you can read and understand. So Anglo-Saxon, it was descriptive literature. In age of Chaucer, it became narrative. It became narrative literature. In like see, I'll explain it to you. What is descriptive literature? Descriptive literature where you describe a lot. You have a picturesque quality. You focus on each and every aspect. For example, in Anglo-Saxon legend of Arthur, Arthur's sword has been described in 300 plus lines. Total lines 312. So in when you talk about Arthur, King Arthur, and Arthur has a sword in his hand. How many lines are required to talk about a sword? सोचो आप कहानी सुन रहे हो, आपको कोई कहानी सुना रहा है, अरे भाई साहब कल तो लड़ाई हो गई, अच्छा जी क्या हुआ फिर, उसने बंदूक निकाली और क्या बताऊं बंदूक का ब्लैक कलर, उसमें जो बुलेट्स थी, कंपनी थी, इतना प्यारा लग रहा था, ब्लैक कलर घनघोर बादलों की तरह, ब्लैक क्लाउड्स की तरह। आपको कह रहे वो छोड़ आगे बता, राइट। Descriptive is when the writer focuses on the minute things and describes a lot. The way Malik Muhammad Jaisi described the beauty of Padmavati in Padmavat, right? So descriptive is that they are taking 300 plus line to deal with the sword of Arthur. If you talk about the personality of Arthur, there are 1,000 plus lines. So what is the need of 1,000 lines to deal with the personality introduction of Arthur? Have you seen the daily soap on television? What happens when the new character is introduced in a daily soap? They start from shoes. Somebody's coming, sensational music, shoes, knees, waist, chest, and they are about to reveal the face and they say, next episode. Why did they waste last 10 minutes just to show? So unnecessarily describing a lot, focusing on unnecessary things. For example, Anglo-Saxon writers, whenever they would write, they would talk about the valleys, forests, dragons, their unnecessary appearances. Chaucer's style is narrative. Chaucer focuses on content. He has a plot. He has a story. Chaucer's story is more practical. So Chaucer doesn't waste time. Chaucer time waste nahi karta. Suppose you are habitual of writing descriptive style and you become a newspaper editor. So and you just have to write a bus accident, 30 people died. How will you write? A beautiful weather, breezy wind, people sitting inside, smiling, chirping. Somebody was dreaming, somebody was missing his girl, somebody was thinking about his marriage. And then all of a sudden, bus fell down. When it was going down, they felt breeze on their face. Or you'll just simply write the bus, accident, this. So unnecessary description. Anglo-Saxon works are lengthy. Pearl poetry, 40,000 plus lines. So this literature became narrative. Then idealistic. From idealistic, it became realistic. Idealistic is that education is everything. Realistic is that there are centers which are hired and people they do the copy, right? So idealism, adarsh, what should be, and realistic, what is there, reality. Idealism is that we are the best creation of God. Reality, we are the people killing each other on the name of religion. So Chaucer's work, Chaucer's career, age of Chaucer becomes realistic. They are dealing with corruption of church. They are dealing with the character of women. They are dealing with corrupt people. They are not dealing with King Arthur's idealism. They are talking about reality. So from idealistic literature to realistic, from local dialect to standard language. Earlier in Anglo-Saxon, there are so many works which are written in local dialect, Mercian, Frisian, and the language of Danes. So earlier, the Anglo-Saxon, most of the Anglo-Saxon work is written in the local dialect. But in the age of Chaucer, they started focusing on the standardized language only. They started writing in a serious way only. Then, the another important thing is Anglo-Saxon writers were writing in decasyllabic style. One of the most frequent style which was used was called decasyllabic style, but that was prosy style, not proper poetic style. Age of Chaucer, they started writing poetry. Chaucer's age is the first age of poetry. In fact, Geoffrey Chaucer is called the father of English poetry. Geoffrey Chaucer has been called father of English poetry by John Dryden, Matthew Arnold. Write down this point. Geoffrey Chaucer has been called father of English poetry by John Dryden and Matthew Arnold. So another shift was from prose to poetry. Then the bigger shift from Latin French to English. In this age, they started writing in English from Latin French to English. Another development was from Latin French to English. Now, these are the literary changes. These are the literary changes here. Now, I hope you have written those points. Now, the important thing that you have to understand. In age of Chaucer, the most important thing that we have to understand, the development of English language. The development of English as a language. As you have attended my previous classes on private mode, in Anglo-Saxon age, I taught you that this was called Ingla land. Ingla land dominated by angels. So the language of angels was Ingla. How Ingla language, which later becomes East Midland, how it got converted into language English. So the point is that even the English language was not there. English language has been made, formed in this age. यहाँ पे English language बनाई जाएगी. First book in English comes in 1388. Before 1388, there was no book in English. Chaucer will work on certain languages, then he will pick East Midland and make it a proper language. Then English language will become the language of court 1362, language of parliament 1363, language of schools 1386. These are some changes that I will teach you in my next class. In the next class, we will talk about the development of English language, where I will give you all the details. There was a question in that exam, why Chaucer selected East Midland dialect to be converted into English language. Chaucer ने East Midland को ही select क्यों किया? There was Mercian, Frisian, Kentish, Northumbrian, Southumbrian, language of Wessex, West sections. Why he selected East Midland only? What are the reason behind? What are the flexible changes? What are the loan words and calque used at that time? Along with this, which literary style Chaucer did not like? He used a phrase rim ram rough. वो क्या चीज है? So in my next lecture, we will deal with this thing. This was also a lecture for public, for students, those who are making their mind. If you want to get these kind of video classes, join the batch. WhatsApp me here. आपको video classes मिल जाएंगी इस तरह की. This is the number. This is my style. The next classes will be private classes. Those links will not be shared. It was just a sample. If you loved it, if you liked it, if you want to study from me in my way. See, I started from a small town, then went to University of Delhi, got my 10 time net and double GRF. So when I teach, I'll make sure that I teach you each and everything. I do not need wallpapers and PPTs. You know why? Because arranging unnecessary PPTs overburdens the mind of student. So it's simple. I'll just need the pen and the board and I'll teach you each and everything on the board. So if you want to join, WhatsApp me on this number. Thank you so much. And all the online students, next classes will be private. Those classes will not be shared with you. Stay tuned, make notes. In next class, we'll start from this point, English language development. Thank you so much. Shabak here. Good night.